All right. Hey everyone, hope you guys are all doing all right. This is a little bit different format from my other videos in that we are just going to be doing this as a podcast. I'm trying it out with some good friends of mine. So we are talking about the discussion. I want to know a little bit about what they think November the 5th will look like in the United States. November the 5th, 2020. What will it look like in the United States? Who's going to be the president? What is going to be the reaction of that person becoming the president? I'm just kind of getting what their feedback is, and we're just kind of try to make this about an hour-long discussion regarding that topic and wherever the topic goes. So a little background, I was just kind of explaining to these guys. So November the 5th, if you aren't aware, was the failed assassination attempt of blowing up Parliament and killing King James, who was a Protestant king back in the 1600s of England. The attempt was by Guy Fawkes, who was a pro-Catholic Englishman, and several other Catholics who were trying to overthrow the government ultimately. And if you want to know November 5th, the basic message is overthrowing the government. That is what it's all about. That's why you see the Guy Fawkes masks, aka the anonymous mask of people saying we're going to overthrow the government. Let me start off with this question. Simple question.
Right.
Who is going to be president or president-elect come November 5th?
Uh,
If you were to put money on it.
I've been saying this whole time Trump has it. Especially before all of this coronavirus and protests have happened, we were looking forward to watching the debates as like a joke. Because, I watched Biden today. Dude, it's painful almost to hear him talk sometimes. So, my brain says Trump, but my heart is like, maybe this can pull out a win for Biden. Either way, it's not going to be another great 4 years. I just don't see much really improving even if Biden wins. But we just can't let Trump win and just the spiral continue at the very least. But I'm going to say Trump, but God, I hope it's Biden.
Based off of what I would think versus December versus now, I would say easily Joe Biden now, simply because of what's been going on. And I think I see with a lot of what's going on in the world with George Floyd, these protests, there's a lot more solidarity between this community. And I'm going to make that prediction that that'll be enough in order to push Biden. My only concern is the crowd of it should have been Bernie, I'm not going to vote, Anyway, yeah, just there's always that wild card. We saw it in 2016 to a degree, certain people, either third party or for whatever reason, or, upset it was not Bernie. And so there's that obviously concern of could we repeat that? But I think what might make the difference this time around is what's been going on. That's a once in a generation, once in in a long time. We've never seen things like this happen. Things of like a pandemic and we've had protests, but nothing like this.
If I could just say, actually, what reinforced, because I do actually 100% agree with that, what reinforces my doubt of it, whether or not it's founded, is do people ride this wave all the way into November? Because especially with the internet, you see how quickly people forget things.
I love that. I love that.
Also, the issue that I scream about to everybody who talks to me, will people turn out? And the hope is that it happens, but the worry is that do people just kind of forget?
Sure.
Which sounds bad, but it does happen.
We're going to get back to that because we have to remember we are still 5 months away from the election.
I think the president-elect is, I think it's going to still be Trump. I think it all comes down to key states, like swing states like Ohio, Florida. Again, Republicans are really, really tough. They don't change their views. Even if there's something really important going on right now, I feel like Republicans really just stick into what they believe in. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's going to be a close race. Mm-hmm. So it could sway to Biden, but as of right now, I still see Trump winning.
So my answer to it, I actually agree. I think my heart said, I want to say it's going to be Biden. I believe in the people. My brain says I think this is going to be a Trump win. And if we look at the polls right now, going back to... So we're going to look at the presidential polls and where he is standing. So from a national polling, if you look right now from CNN, which was about 12 days ago, Biden is leading Trump 55% to 41%. So that's pretty remarkable because Hillary Clinton never got past 50%, I believe, in most polls. So Biden having that's from a CNN SSRS poll saying that he's leading by 55 to 41% nationally. That really doesn't, it somewhat matters, but doesn't matter as much as in-state polls because this is an electoral college. It is not a popular vote. Now, let's just go to Fox News. Fox News, which, has generally a bias, a Republican bias, has Biden leading by 46 to 43 with Trump. Now, that is within the margin of errors, but then we have a bunch of other polls, none of which have Trump leading. The closest is the University of North Florida poll with with Biden leading by 49 and Trump losing by 48. So then we go to another state I think that is more in Trump's favor, I think, is Iowa, in which we do have Trump leading by 10% in this Des Moines Register poll. But then we have the Des Moines Register poll. This was back in March, and then we update that. Biden is only down 1 point. So Trump's already lost 9 points within the state of Iowa. The big ones you need to pay attention to, Florida is huge. If Trump loses Florida, I think it's over. Now, go to Pennsylvania. Biden is leading, from a Fox News poll, is leading by 8 percentage points, okay? Now, I think we kind of made our point. Well, last point is Texas. So Texas, most of them have, I don't think Biden will win Texas, but most of them have Trump leading Texas. But this newest one has Trump only leading by 1. That's within the 3-point margin of error. So let's go back to kind of what do you think is going to change ultimately to get Trump a victory?
I'm not sure. Well, in my view, maybe it's not changed. I'm sure a million things could change between here and now. We've seen what's happened in the first 6 months of this year alone. I just think, and this is my pessimistic side, is just general apathy toward what's going on right now. Like, if the election were, say, 2 weeks, it would not be a contest, in my opinion. But essentially what I was just saying, that do people continue to be this fervent and politically active as they seem to be right now, or you just see people give up on issues? Like, how everyone is so great about wearing their masks and staying indoors the first few months of quarantine, and the second they were given any other option, they're just like, it's fine, we don't care anymore.
Right.
So my real concern is just apathy, I guess.
I think that's what I fear the most. And like you said, to the point of the face mask, even though right now Arizona is at a point of COVID-19 cases that we've never seen in the United States, just the amount of increase, people are just totally ignoring it, thinking that it's over.
One thing Trump has been great at is he has united the Republican Party more than Bush, more than obviously McCain or Romney did, and they're so united and so in tune with who their guy is. So that's why he definitely could win. The reason why I see Biden potentially pulling this off is simply because of the fact that how Trump reacts to everything in the next few months, 2, 3, 4 months, is going to be very, very critical. I think if he continues to be divisive and stir up these protests that are very much alive still, and people are still fed up, and you see Trump's numbers, they have been going down compared to 1, 2, 3 years ago, and I think that type of swing could be enough. I'm not saying it's going to be a landslide, it's going to be close, but if Biden's able to pull it off, I think it'll be based off of who turns out to vote. If people actually are motivated, like they're motivated to protest, like they're motivated to speak their voice, if that motivation goes to the polls, then Biden wins. The problem is that in years past, in elections past, that doesn't happen. And so I feel like these crazy times might be kind of indicative on like what we're seeing right now. It's like it's going to have an effect on the election. And as far as like whether or not it could continuous momentum up until November. I think it's based off of what Trump does between here and now. If he continues to be divisive and stick to his base and not do anything for the people, I feel like people are going to be fed up with that, and that's honestly wishful thinking. I think you all agree with that, but I more or less wanted to kind of have that dialogue of why Biden could win.
There is a difference, now that I think about it, in between in 2016 and now, is that back then we were voting against the idea of Trump as the president. We still had no idea what was actually going to happen. Just everyone thought, oh, it's going to be terrible. But now that we have this rap sheet of all the horrific things he's done as a lack of a leader, that might actually be a tipping point.
Yeah, no one took him seriously in 2016.
I think that ultimately grew complacency, and what I worry about this election is that people they're going to see the polls and they're going to say, "Oh, it's going to be an easy win. I'm not even going to bother to vote." That's my biggest fear. Is people are like, "Oh, it's in the bag for Biden again," and then people just go out and vote.
I still say it's going to come down to people don't care about what other people believe in. They just believe in what they believe in. It's hard to change people's. It's just in the end of the day, it's hard to change people's opinions. Like, I
agree with that. The issue is, like, for instance, you are not going to chip any Trump supporters. Like, they're going down with the ship. But my question is, can you get more people? This is my ultimate question, and I will not know this until November. Are there more people who are pissed off at Trump than we know about? Because when I see people are pissed, or is it more people like, I'm just apathetic to it. Well, so another point real quick. I'm looking at the map. We're looking at the map right now. If Biden loses Florida, if Biden loses North Carolina, but if Biden just picks up Pennsylvania, which we just saw is leading by 10 points, and picks up Arizona, it's done. Or if Biden just picks up Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, it's done. Trump can only lose one state that he won. That's the thing. Everything else is against him. Like, the map is showing it that he can't lose these states. But that's going to be the ultimate question. Are there more people apathetic? They're like, this is fine. My life hasn't really changed too much under Trump. Or is it going to be, I hate Trump, I am really pissed, and the people who didn't vote, are they going to actually come out and vote? That's going to be the ultimate question.
I remember in 2016, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania specifically were surprises that they went Trump.
Right. And if you look at Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, that was only 70,000 votes. Those three states is what cost Hillary the election, and it was only 70,000 votes.
I kind of think if you're looking at some of the, like we said, we're looking at some of these swing states. I think Biden needs to go to small suburban,
in all honesty, suburban housewives is what won them in 2018. That's what that was the blue wave, was people housewives who are just sick and tired of Trump.
Real quickly, if you get a chance, I'm really curious what the polls, and we might have looked at it already, but Ohio. I'm really intrigued by Ohio.
So Ohio is one of those. Let's look real quick. I think Ohio is more Republican than. Okay, that is not good for Trump. So he's leading. Biden was leading by 4 points in Ohio back in March. Actually, weirdly enough, the Fox News poll has him at 45 over 43 with Trump. I think, honestly, the states I would be throwing money at like no other if I was the Biden campaign is Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Arizona. Those are the four I would just be bombarding with ads and bombarding with money, because those are winnable states. North Carolina I think is also in the range. If you have the resources, go there. I have a weird feeling with Wisconsin. I don't know about those cheeseheads. It's just I feel like they're going to go back to Trump. I don't know why.
I think Ohio could be a big one, too. I think if he hits Ohio hard, we've seen in previous elections, whoever wins Ohio usually wins that.
So Michigan is definitely going to flip. Michigan, I almost could put money on. Then you just need two. And the two I'm looking at, it's Pennsylvania and Arizona. And it's done. It's over if he does that.
And they have plenty of ammunition from these past few months alone of how Trump's administration has been handling protest to the virus.
What is the one red state that's been like, say Montana for example? Do you see like a random red state just turning blue without even like what just happened?
Actually, so Texas is the biggest one. So Texas would be like the shock. I would not put money in Texas right now. I understand that it's getting more blue, but personally, I would just be targeting those states. I would be Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Arizona. If you have the resources, target North Carolina and Texas.
When was the last time Arizona went blue?
I believe it was Clinton. Let me double check.
So that would be kind of a big
It's been
deal.
a while, yeah. I think it was Clinton '96.
Because
yes, it was Clinton in '96 because I know Bush carried Arizona in 2000 and in 2004, and I know for a fact Romney and McCain carried Arizona.
I feel like whoever Biden picks as his running mate, whoever that might be, the only name that comes to mind is Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, it has to be Harris. I'm sorry, it has to be.
I feel like it will be, but I'm curious if there's another running mate in one of these swing states, a really strong Democratic candidate who could be vice president.
So
might swing the state.
Okay, so I've done the research. I actually did a YouTube video on this. Go check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe. But other swing state would be someone from Florida, which would only be Val Demings, I believe. But I don't think she has the name recognition. I think Kamala is your go-to. I think, unfortunately, and even her as a prosecutor. I know the left would be like, oh, we want Warren. Warren is one of the worst politicians I've ever seen. I'm going to be dead honest. If Warren was in a swing, like, she is so goofy. She has no clue. Well, she's really smart. Like, she's a really smart, what's the word I'm looking for? Official. She's a smart official. Like, she's a good legislator, horrible politician, in my opinion.
I was just saying, Kamala Harris is interesting because, that is just anecdotal, but my uncle is, like, super Trump. Mm-hmm. And even he's like, I kind of like that Kamala Harris character.
Yeah.
So, it might swing some people.
Yeah. Yeah, it could. I mean, you never... What I really want to talk about is going back to that question on November 5th. What happens if Joe Biden is elected? How does Trump react?
I think Trump's gonna make. He's gonna make it. I think it's gonna be easy. I don't think it's gonna be. You gotta throw me out of the White House. I do think he's gonna say something that's gonna piss a lot of people off. For the most part, I think it's gonna be like when Obama.
Will he congratulate Joe for beating him?
I don't think he'll shake his hand or anything. Or if you know what I mean?
Night of the election, it comes out Joe Biden has won. What do you think's Trump's first response?
He's gonna challenge it.
I don't know, because remember back when McCain lost and everyone thought he was gonna say something bad.
But that's John McCain and Trump are two different animals. Let's be honest.
I don't know. Trump is an entertainer. We will see. Well, who knows what's gonna happen?
He's gonna challenge it for one. He's not gonna go down without a fight. He's gonna say it was rigged. He's gonna say that I need a recount. That's the first thing. Second thing is he's gonna use his support base and just fire them up. He's gonna fire up his base like no other. He's gonna get them out in droves, have it be like a Tea Party movement in 2012, except bigger, and just have them be like, we want to recount. He's gonna call Biden every name you can think of. He's gonna throw a fit. He's gonna threaten not to leave the White House, and he's not gonna shake his hand. I don't see any way where he does this with any class.
He's gonna be mad, yes, but I'm not trying to defend the guy. I'm just saying he's aware of his surroundings, kind of. But
I would say the opposite. I think he's very smart, and he's gonna manipulate his base into, like I said, firing them up. And he's a master manipulator. He's very smart in that way, and that's why I think he's gonna try to flip this and just throw a fit about it.
That's what I'm worried about. I think my ultimate fear and the reason for this podcast, what if he says I'm not going to leave? Or what if he convinces enough people saying it is rigged? What happens next? And if there's enough people with arms who are blocking the White House saying I'm going to protect my president, that's what I'm worried about.
Keep in mind, these people have never experienced a Trump loss ever since he got elected. They've experienced nothing as far as seeing him go down in flames. Maybe on the Democratic side, they see him do something that's stupid, but for them, it's a victory. And so to see him all of a sudden he's crushed in this election and he's shocked, they're gonna, to your point, they're gonna come guns blazing.
Why is Trump the first president out of all of the presidents that we've had that you think this is gonna happen with?
Look how he acts! Look how he acts! This is the first modern day president I would honestly see saying it was a rigged election.
Well, he already has.
He said it about an election he won. He said the election was rigged, that 3 million people voted illegally for an election that he won.
I know. I get your point.
I generally think what we're saying now, well, there's a few angles here. One, let's say he decides, we go with that extreme where he's like, I'm not leaving and the military has to force me out, and his supporters show up. Zero idea what can happen. I think he's most likely just going to make a mess of it. Of course, he's going to try to just invalidate everything as much as he already has. We've seen it before he won. But then there's the conspiracy side in me that I was saying before 2016. Oh, maybe he doesn't actually want to be president. Maybe he hates it.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. Like maybe deep down it's like, gosh, I hate this job. I'm gonna lose on purpose.
But then his track record is from what we see, he doesn't really seem to be doing the job in any real capacity other than just making noise and tweeting about and golfing.
Right.
So I think he might just enjoy the publicity because it doesn't seem like he's really doing, he doesn't seem like he's bothered by work to begin with.
Yeah.
So
I think
have no idea. Biden has said the military will escort him out. If so, I don't think the military will just go, hail Caesar on us and protect Trump. So I think he'll leave, but not without a fight.
The scariest scenario, honestly, the nightmare scenario, is if there's a general that stands with Trump, or if there's someone in the military that, if the military splits, that's it. Like that's Civil War number 2. Let me throw this question out. What if Trump wins again? Do you think people are prepared for a second term?
They weren't prepared for a first, but a lot of bad things are gonna happen with Trump as president, and he's first of all not going to know how to work through it, but say stupid stuff, which is already happening. But they're prepared for it because they've been through it.
What do you think Do you think Trump's actions are going to change knowing that he doesn't have to be reelected again? That's up for anybody.
I think he'll just be. I think he'll speak louder, but I think he won't be as in the spotlight. Let's say. I think he's just going to sit in the White House and do nothing.
Really. I think he loves the attention. He loves the
rally
publicity.
in Oklahoma,
right,
during a pandemic.
Well, right Oklahoma, which has like 30 points in his favor. Why is he hosting a rally in Oklahoma?
It was originally slated for Juneteenth, and he decided to go forward with it. It wasn't until he received backlash, so he moved it a day later.
Well, we go
he
back
wants publicity.
We go back to the idea of did he want to be president though?
I think
that's what I was saying.
I think he wanted the title.
I think he wanted the
job.
title. I think he wanted the title. He didn't want the job.
So that's why I think he'd be like, "Oh, this is my second election. I'll just sit back and do nothing." I know I can't get another.
That's already what he does.
But I think he likes the power, so he's gonna want to do his thing. I think the first thing we're gonna see is the "Not My President" protest we saw after Hillary lost. We're gonna see more of those. It's gonna be like deja vu, and that's gonna slowly fade. And then after that, I think the second term, we're going to see an economic crash that's a lot because of what's going on right now and his handling of it. We haven't even seen the worst of the COVID stuff, in my opinion. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And between that and, who knows, maybe he'll go back to the whole wall thing once the COVID stuff calms down. I can see him doing that.
Okay, so we talked about what happens if Trump just doesn't give up power. Actually, legitimate question. Let's say he eventually does give up power, because I think it's going to be a fight if he loses. What does he do after the presidency?
The Apprentice.
He specifically, I think he's going to make a little mini documentary about his presidency and the day in the life of being a president.
I think he's going to try to make his own media channel, because that's what he said. I think that was his main purpose in 2016, was make his own media channel like Fox. was just to
Right,
get
that was one of
publicity.
He's gonna make his own like Fox News channel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's gonna try to make his own Fox News channel.
Actually, now that the idea is there, thinking about it, imagine the election after that. Any president that Trump endorses for the rest of his life, they're going to get a massive base out of that.
Maybe. I don't know how big his base really is. I think it's at least
38%.
Yes, there's at least 38% of the country, which is kind of depressing, that will always support him no matter what. I think, okay, here, let's just move this question to that. Who comes after Trump? Because, like, Trump is, like, I don't see anyone who has the Trump charisma. How can we go back to normal afterwards?
I think there's only one Trump. There's no way to repeat a Trump, and so it'll go back to the Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio's of the Republican Party.
You know what Trump sounds like? Stump.
That's very observant of you, Tom. Thank you very much.
I think they just what they've done really is these people have always been here. They just see that the president is now allowing them to act and feel that way in public.
Right. It's definitely invigorated them.
I was going to say something else. So going beyond the Republican Party of like U.S. politics, the one thing that Trump's done well is he's changed the political game, and like never before do we hear anyone talk about Oprah Winfrey or The Rock or even Kanye West running for president until Trump came around.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's not a good thing.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want Kanye. You need someone with some public policy experience. I'm looking at Barron. Barron Trump, by the way, is like 7'2".
But what Matt was saying, don't you remember the meme? It was before 2016, everybody was saying, there's no way Trump can be president. He's that guy on TV. And then fast forward to 2024, like, I can't believe President Guy Fieri renamed Cuba Flavor Town.
Right.
Now it's just like...
Well, that's it. That's the thing is, this election is ultimately going to be, was this a fluke? Was this like something where we're like, okay, yeah, no more apprentice guys? Or was this just...
Reagan.
Or was
famous.
Or was this just unlocking the door for something new? You know, that is my real question.
And none of us know. We can just speculate because we'll never know until we see 2024 and we see who comes out of that.
I've learned my lesson on just saying, oh, this is definitely going to happen. Because remember the top of 2016, one night in particular, we were at McDonald's and we were talking about this, Trump possibly becoming president. Do you remember how ironclad sure we were? There were two big events in my life that taught me to never be 100% like that again. It was the 2016 election, and we cannot go into this topic, but it was Super Bowl 51.
Oh, yeah.
Those were two things where I was like, oh, it's over. It's not going to happen. And slowly I watched it before my eyes.
51 was like a microcosm for the 2016 election.
So, any final words, gentlemen, regarding what happens on... Okay, my point being, vote. I can't stress that enough. This is not in the bag. We are 5 months out. You tell everyone you know to vote. Thank you for joining us for another Future Bleak podcast. I shouldn't say another. I should say the first Future Bleak podcast. And all 5 of you who are ultimately going to watch this on the internet, I appreciate your viewership, and please tune in next time. Bye-bye.